Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be going over the benefits of being a hybrid athlete. Now, before I get into today's episode, I like to go over anything that I'm noticing fitness wise, nutrition wise, anything that I think may be helpful for you or that you may find interesting. So, diving into today's episode, on Saturday, I went and got a deep tissue massage. First time I had gotten that type of massage in a year. Felt really good, felt really relaxed. Honestly, ended up falling asleep when I was getting the massage done on my legs, on my calf, and on my thighs. So felt great, felt very relaxed. But I noticed that when I started running on Monday, so that was on a Saturday. So now on a Monday and I'm starting to run, I noticed my legs were a little sore. Okay, maybe that's not unusual. I did some deadlifting a little bit a few hours prior. That's not unusual. Tuesday, I'm running hills, very sore. Wednesday, running again, very, very sore. So I'm hopeful that this isn't becoming too much of an issue, that nothing happened. And then I also think at the same time, where, and if you listen to the previous episodes where I had gone to the dermatologist, I had to take a week off running, I had done some biking. And then last week, I got back full into running and I ran my usual 30 miles that I like to run. So I don't know if going from I wouldn't even call it going from 0 to 30 because I had been going 30 miles a week on average. Just happened to be that I had to take a break for a week. So I don't know exactly what's going on other than like I'm running 9 minute, 9 minute, 30-second miles where before then I was running a pretty comfortable 8:45, 8:30 pace, so almost like a minute longer. So again, I don't know if it's a combination of just running too much on my legs, if it was a combination of, again, getting that massage done. So working through that right now. The goal is to do a long run tomorrow. I haven't done a long run in about 3 or 4 weeks. And when I did one last week, but it was just 7 miles. I want to get to the 10-mile mark, and I haven't done a 10-mile run probably in 3 or 4 weeks at this point. So looking forward to getting on and doing that 10-mile long run again and really seeing how that feels. I will say being in upstate New York right now, it is really awesome running weather. I ran on Wednesday. Well, yeah, it wasn't my best time and kind of mad at, how slow I was going, and I just really couldn't push myself. I mean, my heart rate was up, just like the legs weren't moving, but the plus side of it is it was 50, 60, high 60 degrees running temperatures, so it was really nice compared to running throughout the winter. So when I'm running a -3, I can go out and when I'm running 50 and 60 degrees, it's super warm. Now this week I ran that, I ran earlier this week on when it was 60 degrees, and now I'm running later in the week and there's a chance of snow. So just to show you, the weather is still hasn't quite figured itself out yet, but it is so much nicer to be running in warmer weather. Just the fact of being able to run in shorts and a t-shirt versus a jacket and pants and thermal gear and hat and mittens, and honestly sometimes it would take me like 20 minutes just to get ready of having to put on all this equipment and all these clothes, where now I'm just, I wear what I have on from the gym and then I go out and I get my runs in. So I'm looking forward to the weather getting a little bit better here in upstate New York. I don't know how much I'll be enjoying the summer per se when it's 90 degrees and I'm out there and running, but I'm definitely enjoying it now. And I, really can't complain whether it's -3, whether it's 90. It's always a good day to go out there and get a run in. So with that said, I've been going through and thinking, okay, like what do I want to do in 2025 for a racing schedule? So last year I started running, did a few 5Ks, did a couple half marathons, did a 15K, which is actually pretty cool. That distance isn't, I don't think that distance is offered too much in too many different races. So that distance was really nice to run. And what I really liked about the 15K distance was I could obviously not pushing myself as hard as a 5K, but I'm not leaving as much in the tank as I would like a half marathon. Like I believe I ran the 15K, the last probably half mile or so of it was downhill, and I think I paced for like the last half mile like a 4:40, 4:30 pace for just a half mile. Obviously, that wasn't a full mile and it was downhill, but when I'm running a half marathon, running a full marathon, not as much left in the tank. So was just trying to decide, okay, what do I want to do this year? How many races do I want to do? And sort of just, didn't want to think about racing for a while. Just wanted to go out and enjoy running. I knew that there wasn't any races in January, February, March, and honestly, really even April, at least in my area. So I started looking at the race calendar. So planning on at least a few half marathons. Want to do a 10 miler, which is be comparable to the 15K, which is 9.3 miles. I don't think that I want to do a marathon this year. What I want to do is substitute the marathon with doing a half Ironman, and right now that would be looking in September. So just trying to figure out the logistics behind the swimming aspect of it, because last year, if you listen to the last episode, I just swam in my pool, and then I joined a triathlon club and would swim in a lake once a week. But I want to get a little bit more swimming practice in. I want to actually have a formal plan down. Same thing with the biking. Was not the best at biking. Just continuing to search Facebook Marketplace to try to find a good bike. Because again, I don't want to break the bank on it. I want to make sure I enjoy the sport and sign up for another one. So initially, I was looking at July, and I think that's just too quick of a turnaround time. So looking at the end of September. So if I do decide, okay, like this is something I want to do, and I want to make sure I commit to it 100%, then I'll be documenting that journey and sharing the insights with you. When I trained for my sprint triathlon, obviously an entirely different beast, so much smaller than a 70.3, let alone a full Ironman within itself. But that took a lot of training. That took a lot of training, but I didn't necessarily have any training plan set up. I didn't do any brick workouts. If you're unfamiliar, a brick workout is where you're going from swimming to biking or biking to running. So when I'm going swimming to biking, not that much of an issue. Biking to running, your legs are on fire. Wish I would have just done that more than literally just doing it for the very first time on that first sprint triathlon. Wish I had done more open water swimming. The problem I had with open water swimming and just the sprint triathlon, which is what I was working on through the triathlon club, was sighting. So I'd basically just be swimming, and then I would notice I'd be veering far off to the right, where when you're going around the buoys, you want to make sure that you're going as close to them as possible. I don't want to be swimming so far out to the right and then I have to swim back. That's not exactly how I want to be swimming. So more open water swimming, obviously doing more biking, doing longer bike rides, doing more brick workouts. So trying to figure out that plan, figuring out, okay, like, do I cut back on my strength training? Most likely, if I'm planning on this, I'm going to have to cut back because I just don't think there's enough time in my week. To be honest, I'm already training about 10 to 12 hours per week when it comes to running and when it comes to strength training. So maybe I cut the strength training down from 5 to 3. Maybe I cut the runs down from 5 to 4. However I want to figure it out. So just going through the logistics and starting to get that mental planning done. I think I just done a decent amount of races at the end of 2024 where I just like needed a complete break to be like, okay, like I don't want to think about racing. I just want to go out there and enjoy running through the winter. And then as the springtime comes, as it does now I can start planning what I want to be doing next. So I want to provide that little insight there and some of the thinking behind that. Now, diving into today's episode, the benefits of being a hybrid athlete. So if you're someone that's never heard of the term hybrid athlete, or maybe you have and you're wondering what it means, I think it could mean so many different things to so many different people. But for me, what a hybrid athlete is someone that focuses on strength training and endurance training. So you're not just someone that runs marathons, and you're not just someone that does powerlifting. You're someone that does a combination of both. For someone like me, where I go to the gym 5 days a week and I run 5 days a week. And then the title of this podcast, obviously being the Hybrid Athlete Dad, what that means is someone who's a hybrid athlete where they're doing strength training and endurance training, but is someone who is also a dad in the same sense. So obviously that makes a lot of sense. So I like to build that community, and that's why I started this podcast. Someone that wants to do the strength training, wants to do the endurance training, but is also a dad. What turned me on to being a hybrid athlete was, and I've talked about this a little bit before on previous podcasts, but I ended up working with a nutritionist. She recommended that I run a mile on the treadmill twice a week. So that's really where I was starting off, because I was initially just walking 20 minutes on the treadmill and incline twice a week. So I was just looking to lose a little bit of body fat. she recommended that I just start with running 1 mile on the treadmill in addition to, and we didn't call it a diet, but more of a lifestyle change that I fully adapted. Now, so I started doing some running. Then I started doing some running outside in the neighborhood next to me, and it's like a 1.5 mile loop. So we'd do that 3 times a week, and just started running a little bit more, based on her push. Then went on YouTube and was looking for like new food ideas and recipes, and that's where I came across Nick Bear from Bear Performance Nutrition. Started coming across these other hybrid athletes and realized that there are people that not only strength train but also run, and I just dived head first into that and really embraced that lifestyle of what you consider being a hybrid athlete, where for however many years I have been going to the gym, I'd always just only done strength training, where now I'm like, okay, maybe I lose a little bit of size, but now I can do this endurance training. I know I'm not going to be competing in a powerlifting or bodybuilding competition. That's not necessarily what I want to do. But when it comes to endurance training, there's really the competition is myself. It's going out there and it's getting faster over time. It's beating my previous PRs. And what I really like about being a hybrid athlete, and I say that with a grain of salt, where there's folks out there that are obviously have been doing it a lot longer, are a lot faster, can lift a lot more. This is really just my experience over the last year, but it's just pushing yourself mentally and physically. There's days where I don't want to go to the gym. There's days that I don't want to get outside and get running, especially when I look in the winter when it's, again, in the negative 3 degrees out and there's 20, 30 mile an hour winds, but I know I push myself through it and I come back and I'm a better person for it. And I think to myself, well, sometimes on these long runs, I'll go out and I'll do an hour workout in the morning at the gym, and then I'll run 10 miles in the afternoon or a little bit later after that workout. And I just feel like it just pushes me mentally and physically. We're going to the gym. I'm going and I had that routine for so long where I would get up, I would go to the gym, I would work out, I would rest, say a minute or two in between sets, depending on the exercise. But when I'm running, I'm not in a climate controlled environment unless you're on a treadmill. I'm outside. I'm subject to the elements. Most people, I don't know what the stat is, but I would imagine probably 99% of Americans wouldn't want to start running or pick up running. So I know that I'm doing something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and I'm pushing myself because of it. And it just really allowed me to push myself mentally and physically, especially when it came to running a lot of these races, showing up for that first 5K, not knowing what to expect, then doing the first half marathon, then pushing myself mentally and very physically hard running that first marathon. I think it's not spoken enough is just what it does for your mindset when I know, okay, like I can go out and I can run 10 miles, no problem at all after doing a workout. I can go lift, let's say I can go bench 225, and I can go run not me, but the goal is someday, I can run a 4 or 5 6 minute mile. Right now, I think the fastest I've gone is about 7. I haven't gone all out before, or I haven't gone all out in the last year. I haven't really ever tried it. On my run a few weeks ago, I got down to 7:30. So I'd be curious to see if I just ran around a track, no elevation change, anything like that. So I'd be curious to see. But again, I can bench 225. I can deadlift, say, 400 or 500 pounds. Plus, I can run very fast. It gives you that mental edge. And I don't know really how to describe it other than it's just something you have to experience going out there and working out between running and lifting. And they're so different, but they also complement each other. I know that the more endurance training I have, the more endurance I'm going to have in the gym. I have a longer workout. I know that heavier weights I lift, the bigger my muscles get, the faster I could be when I'm running. I'm just doing that cross body training. And that just brings me to the next point, which is just the satisfaction of training across multiple, I don't know if you would call them events, but I'm training strength and I'm going endurance training. So maybe at the gym today, I always want to be doing, I'm blanking on the word here. I don't want to say hypertrophy training because I do hypertrophy training, progressive overload. That's what I was looking for. So progressive overload, where maybe I bench, let's just say something simple, bench 135 for 10 reps. And then I want to go next week, I want to bench 135 for 12 reps. Then the following week, I want to bench 145 for 10 reps. The following week, I want to bench 145 for 12 reps. So I'm doing that progressive overload and I'm doing the hypertrophy training, which for me, and when I've sort of learned is anywhere from about 8 to 12 reps, give or take. If I do lower reps, I'm just focusing on strength. If I do more than 12 reps, I'm not sure exactly where that lands. I'm not an expert. But so I try to keep it 8 to 12 reps with doing that progressive overload. What another aspect that I like about being a hybrid athlete, and again, just doing the strength training and the endurance training, is just the ability to pivot between different fitness goals. So maybe I have a goal in the gym, and I go back to being able to bench 225. I have a goal in running. Maybe it's to get under a 20-minute 5K. Maybe it's to get under a 4-hour marathon. For me, where the first one, I learned a lot from it. And I know I spoke about it in the last episode, but there are certain things where better hydration schedule, should have gone on a lot more long runs, different things like that I learned. Where the first one I ran 4:35, and I was doing decent, was going to be close on the 4-hour mark, and then hit mile 21, and just hit that proverbial wall. Was like, it can't be that bad. It was that bad, but I knew it was just because I had improper planning, which is what led me to hitting that wall. When I ran a half marathon, first one was like 2:04, next one was like 1:53, 1:54. The goal in the half marathon was, okay, get under 2 hours. Okay, now that I ran 1:54, how can we run, say, under 1:50, then under 1:45? So you can put the goals back and forth where you keep moving the bar a little bit further. Okay, I want to get faster in this event. I want to get stronger in this lift. Maybe I want to do weighted dips, and I want to do 4 sets of 5 with 100 pounds. And right now I'm doing 4 sets of 5 with 50 pounds. So you can continue to go back and forth on the goals, which is really nice. And they each give you a different mental edge, where one is more strength training, one is more endurance training, and you're consistently bouncing these goals back and forth. There's so many benefits that I could go into of being a hybrid athlete. But for me, it just became this sort of lifestyle where I'm going out there and I know I can be in the best possible shape that I can be in because I'm doing this strength training and I'm doing this endurance training. I'm feeling great. I'm eating foods. I'm in this community of like-minded people that are looking to push themselves, that are looking to grow. In the last episode, I know I had mentioned about this gentleman that I had met in the gym that had found the hybrid athlete sort of community as well. And he picked up running, he picked up going to the gym because of it. And it's just an awesome community to be a part of. Not just saying like if you're just powerlifting or if you're just being a marathon runner. This isn't to say, but I really do enjoy this hybrid athlete community, that there are people out there that realize, okay, I can build muscle, I can maintain that muscle, and I can go as fast as possible when I'm running. I don't want to say as fast as possible. It's not like you're running 100 meters, but you can really push yourself when you're going out there and running. And the last benefit of being a hybrid athlete is setting that example for your child, whether they have a child or not. Obviously, this is geared towards parents and fathers and mothers out there who do have a child, but it's just setting that example for your son or daughter. For me, it's my daughter. Obviously, she can't see me when I'm coming home for when I'm at the gym, but times she may catch me coming home and she'll see me with my gym bag and my protein shake. But she has seen me at races when I'm running, and she'll point to the photo in our kitchen and clap because she sees me running in the photo. So just knowing that I'm setting an example for my daughter, and I can share with her, hey, I've been working out and I've been running. I think as you get older, this is something that you can pick up and really, again, I want to set that example for her. I obviously want her to be going to the gym. I want her to develop healthy habits. I want her to be doing running similar to what I'm doing right now. But I know that I can't tell her, hey, go to the gym. Hey, start running. Hey, eat healthier. I have to be the one setting the example. And that's where I feel like being that hybrid athlete really comes into play.